We've got our auntie here today talking with us. This is Lynn Riley, and I will get Aunt to introduce herself.
My name is Wiradjuri. I'm originally from Coonabarabran, and Gamilaroi is
Your nation.
my nation. But I've lived in Dubbo for about 60 odd years, reared all my family here, and so I don't know whether I call myself Wiradjuri or what. So,
did you bring your kids up here because you married somebody who was Wiradjuri?
I married a boy from Dubbo, Billy Lake, and his family lived here, and I stayed here. And but we had 6 children, and they've all done well for themselves. They've all had their jobs. Now they've got families, and we're sort of all my grandchildren are going real well. And I've got one, David Lee, he's very high up in. He's he was top of his class when he was in year 12, and then he went from there on to all these different jobs. He's had all kind of jobs. He's had, and now he's he's in a medical course in Canberra now, and he's done pretty good for himself. And so has all the other grandchildren. They're all going well. They've all got their families, and it's really beautiful to see. And
so you must be really proud of
I am proud.
Yeah.
It was different to our life, my life.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your life?
I was brought up on a little place called Wiradjuri over in Coonabarabran, and that's where all our family lived. We went to school there. We done everything. Wonderful it was. It was a beautiful upbringing, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. And I had the most beautiful grandmother. Queenie came, and she was the most perfect lady. And she done everything to help the people on Wiradjuri to get what they wanted, what they had, and what they got. And then we went to school. We was only allowed to go to 6th year, and then we had to leave there. They took us away from there and put us out to work. So we went to work straight away. 13-year-old I was when I went. And then after that, we sort of, when we done that, it was sort of I don't know what do you call it, but when we did it, I liked going to work too, really. It was lovely, because the people that you work for were people that we knew, so, and they were lovely people to us, treated us as well and everything. And, but after a while we had to leave Wiradjuri, because if you got a pension, well, they took you off the mission and put you in town. You had to go in town and find your own way of living and everything, get your own houses and things. And once the older people left, well, the family eventually went too, And now,
what do you mean by a pension?
A pension, the old age pension.
Oh, so once the old fellas got the old age.
The age pension, yeah.
They had to leave.
They had to leave.
So they had to leave their whole family?
Had to leave the family and go in town to live. That's one of those things that happens, and I don't think it should have, because, they could have been all there today. They still own it, we still own it, we got our beautiful cemetery out there. Everybody goes home when they pass away. It doesn't matter if they're in Sydney, Canberra or anywhere, they'll come home. Make sure that they come home. And it was a beautiful place, is a beautiful place, and we still love it now. and all those different things that happened. I could go on forever and ever, but it's a long story.
Do you want to give a couple of examples of things that happened that really you remember and the impact it had on you?
Well, yes, there was one very serious thing, and that was when they started taking the children away from their parents, and we seen that. I seen it. And the kids had to run for their life. We run for our life. We got away too, because we wasn't sure who they were going to get when the welfare came on the scene, And they took this one family away. I think it was about 6 children, and they put them all in different homes. At that time, that was years and years ago. That was in the olden times, and those kids grew up in different homes, didn't know each other, didn't know they had a sister or brother, and they just found each other. Well, they found each other in this last 10 years, and they're all back together. So, that's a sad story of all those things that happened, And
so your parents must have worked hard to keep years together.
They did. And it was just sort of one of those things, I can still remember them, but there's other things, there's lots and lots of things that this is a really big story, and but I couldn't go through it all. But we're doing well now at the moment. My grandchildren, I'm very proud of my grandchildren. They're all gone ahead. And
so do you think that because they're now working in the white systems, that then they're white and they're not Aboriginal?
No, they will never do that. Never. David Lee will never do that. And he's on top of the world at the moment, buying his own home, bought his own home, and he's got this beautiful job in Canberra. So, and it's worth a lot of money too.
So what does it mean to you in that when people tried to break Aboriginal people up and get rid of their identity?
Yeah, that was bad. That was very bad. And, there's lots of other things besides that. Our soldiers, for one thing, they fought for Australia. I had 3 uncles that fought for Australia. They come back. They couldn't go in the pub and have a beer with their white mates, but they fought with their white mates. And they had to go out on the riverbank and have a beer with their white mates. They couldn't go into the pubs, they wouldn't allow them. And that went on for years and years and years, and all of a sudden they gave them a card.
The certificate of
exemption.
exemption?
They gave them a certificate to go into the, not all of them, just certain people. And they got this card to say that they were Aboriginal and they were allowed in, But I didn't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And I will never agree with it. I don't reckon that was right, because our soldiers, they fought for Australia. And, it was a sad thing, that happened to the old soldiers. And they fought in blood up to their knees, and they did go into the First World War. So you know what that was all about. And
did you ever want to get a certificate of exemption?
I would not have one.
Why?
Because the simple reason I'm Australian. I might be Aboriginal, but I'm Australian too. And I still don't think they're treating us with respect now. This time, the white people are very, very disrespectful. There is some good people. There's good ones, and there's bad ones. But
so, can you give me an example of the disrespect you're talking about?
Well, when we were kids, and these are the people we know in Coonabarabran. We love to go to the movies. But we went to the movies, we had to sit on those old canvas chairs down the front, and all the white people sitting in the big chairs at the back. Our mates, the schoolmates and everything. And they never seemed to care either, They didn't care. They should have kicked up a fuss a little bit more, shouldn't they? But no one did in those days. And but that's how we were treated. You had to watch your movies on the old chairs. You'd sink nearly to the floor,
And what about more recently? Are there examples?
Well, now it's different altogether. It's different. We go to movies, pay our money, and that's it. So,
are there any examples that you'd like to give of where there has been problems or conflict for your kids or your grandkids?
Well, no, not that I know of now. I've sort of, I suppose I've got just a little bit too old now to sort of mix around and that, but probably there's a lot going on that I don't know about. But
so what these days you just stick with?
I just go with the flow.
Yeah.
I'm an Australian, I'm an Aboriginal, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud because I am an Aboriginal. I'll always be an Aboriginal. And my family knows that. They all know it. They all know what they are, and they're proud of it.
And have you seen many big changes in Dubbo over the years?
Yes, there is changes, isn't there? There's changes. Every year, you can get a job now. They are getting a job. The Aboriginals are treated with respect. And if they've got a bit of go in them, they can go and get a job. So, there's a lot of things that they can learn today, and they got the chance to do it. And if they don't do it, it's their own fault because they've got the chance today to do it. I know that for a fact. Yeah.
We're also wanting to give messages to students at university who might end up out here working with Aboriginal people. Are there any messages that you would like to give them?
Just try and get on with your fellow Aboriginals and treat them with respect. They'll treat you with respect if you do that. And what else is there? Life's got to go on, hasn't it? But just it seems that this culture business with the Aboriginals and the white Australians, it just won't stop, will it? There's always that bit of, I don't know, there's always one person over there who'll call you names, certain names, and they shouldn't be doing that. We're all the same. You cut us, we've got the same coloured blood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, are there are there any particular issues that you want to mention, like for somebody who might be involved in law or education or medicine?
Oh, I don't know. There is a lot. There's a lot of that they can do it, but they've got to have the go too. They've got to get up and show that they want to do these things.
So for students who are going to end up in communities where there's a lot of Aboriginal people, are there things that they need to do when they come out here and work with Aboriginal people or for Aboriginal people?
Just show that you're sincere, that you want to do it, and you'll get on real well because our culture, our kids are very wary of a lot of things that goes on in Australia. They know all about it. And if you can do that, well, you'll be breaking the rules because there's a lot of those rules are still here in Australia. I don't think it'll ever go. I don't know. In my life, I don't know. But you've got to get on top of it, you young people. You're the ones that can do this.
trying to take your photo, but it's not working. Why is it that you think, because your family, you and your family are really well known in Dubbo as high achievers, like you've really done things. Why do you think you've done things when a lot of other families haven't been able to do it?
Well, I don't know what it is really. We wanted to do it, and we wanted to send our kids to school. We wanted them to get education, and they got that. And you sort of...
Has that been because you've been able to talk to people as well? Like you and your husband could get on and talk with people?
Oh, yes. We was always friends with a lot of people, you know. We go to the meetings out to schools and things and get involved. I was on the tack, getting the meals ready for the kids, and we sort of involved ourselves with everything, you know, that was going on. And, well, I did. Bill was working, he was working at the abattoirs then, and we didn't have much money, but we got on. We done what we had to do. There wasn't very much money in those days, and but we done our best, and I don't know whether
I think you've done more than your best. You've done really well. Yeah, your kids are a credit to you. Yeah. Honestly, your family, whole family's a credit to you. Is there any final message that you'd like to say?
Well, just tell the young students. I tell you, there was a lot of young students used to come out with that old lady from Burke. What was her name? Old Auntie, what was her name?
Evelyn Crawford.
You know, old Auntie, and the students all loved her. All the students loved her and thought she was just one of those people.
Are you talking about Auntie Beryl?
No. She's from Burke, I think, and I can't remember her name. You know the one I mean.
Yeah.
And she always doing something for the students in Sydney and travelling here and there, you know, with them and that, and going on trips with them and everything. And they adored her. All the white students from universities and things, you know. And I saw that, and that was lovely. I thought that was great, you know.
So what you're saying is that there actually can be really good communication.
Oh, of course.
But it's about listening to one another and respecting.
Listening to each other, yep. That's all it's about. And trying to help each other, you know. I mean, it's hard. But you find a way in the end. It always comes to you, doesn't it? It'll come. And, yeah, well, that's about... I mean, I can tell a story, but I mean, I've got a story, but it's too long to put on. You'll never get it.
Your life story?
You'll never get it, my life story. No.
Yeah, well, maybe someday.
One day we might.
Because I think it's a story that's actually worth hearing.
Yeah.
Thank you.